Well, welcome to this amazing comeback champion series. My name is Dori Ray. I'm known on all my social media platforms as Dori on Purpose. And today we're going to talk about this whole subject of change. I know these incredible speakers have been bringing you topics all day that have you ignited for change. It has you ignited for change. You are ready to move to the next level. As a matter of fact, if you're a person who comes to a summit like this, you've already made a decision to change. So what I'm going to teach you today, you're probably going to be preparing to teach someone else, because being here and listening and engaging is an indication that you already understand that change is not an option. And that's what my topic is. Change is not an option. You know, change is something that all of us, regardless of who we are, where we come from, or even where we're going, had to tackle this year. 2020 has been one of the most interesting years I have ever experienced in my 56 years of living. I have never, ever experienced what I've experienced in the world today. We're wearing masks every day, guys. We're wearing masks every day because of this pandemic. Do you know how many times, I've had to walk back to my car because I forgot that mask? Raise your hand if you can relate to that. That's just a little side note. But we're in a world now that none of us have ever seen before. You know, we hear that there's nothing new under the sun. And as I do my research, I know we've been here before, but none of us have been here before. So today I want to focus in on, what do you do when change is no longer an option? What do you do when the school system says that your children can no longer walk into a school building, that you have to adjust your whole schedule and become a homeschool parent, something that you never anticipated doing? What do you do when your job says, oh, we're shutting down because we can't handle what it takes to run a business throughout a pandemic and we no longer need your services? What do you do when your job says, okay, now you have to work from home because we don't have the capacity to house the people that we need here during this pandemic, so we're going to transition all of this department to home? You don't have an option. What do you do when something in your life changes, not because you wanted it to change, because it just changed? And as a result, you have to change with it. So the question becomes again, Dori, what do you do when change is no longer an option? So what do you do when a child is looking you in your face? Your degree is in chemical engineering, and now you have a second grader who wants you to teach them how to do something in a whole totally different field. What do? You adapt. You know, we have the ability to adapt. Now there's two things that inspire change. Or let me fix that. That's not what I want to say. There are two ways that you will handle change. You will either be inspired, so you will move through inspiration, or you will have your back up against the wall and you will move through desperation. So let's first talk about inspiration versus desperation. The biggest mistake I see people making, myself included, when we know that the change is inevitable, you know, the bills are coming, or you have to move out of this house, you know, for whatever reason, or, you know, the children are coming home for homeschool, or your job has just told you you're going to be at work, or your job is just shut down. So now you know you got 30 days. So sometimes when we're faced with changes that we didn't anticipate, we have a capacity, we have the we will become what I call paralyzed, okay? We become paralyzed because we say, okay, it's too much, I'll take care of that tomorrow. It's too much, I take care of that tomorrow. I'm just speaking from my own life. I sometimes the best thing to do when I knew that I had to handle something that I wasn't ready to handle, and in particular a change that had to take place, I would be so overwhelmed that I would say, I'll just take care of that tomorrow. Right now, all I want to do is rest. And then you have to understand, I had another component because I had a touch of mental illness in dealing with major depression for a majority of my adult life. Many people who know me know that is the case. You know, I had this other thing or variable that I had to deal with, but it's so easy to say, let's deal with that tomorrow. So when we keep going to tomorrow, we go from being able to move through inspiration. Let me explain a little further. So we found out back in March of 2018 that the world was going to change forever. I'll never forget that date. I got a phone call. I was working as a consultant for the school district of Philadelphia. I was working in charter school systems. At that particular time, I was a substitute teacher for 2nd to 8th grade students at a school in Center City, Philadelphia, where I was going every day and getting paid every day as a consultant. So when we got the call on March 18th that we no longer had to return to work, for me, I knew that everything was about to change. You know, we had been hearing the rumors, people were just starting to get sick and the pandemic was just becoming an issue in the news. And then I knew that phone call was coming. I no longer had work. Now, as a contractor, I got paid per deal. So for me, change was on the way. Now, at that point, I had the opportunity to move. I could move from inspiration. I could say, okay, I'm inspired to do this because right now I got a little money in the bank. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm okay. But had I said, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? And sat down and pondered and pondered and pondered, do you know that 30 days could have gone by and that situation now goes from inspiration to desperation because now the bills are due. And now you've wasted 30 days. You haven't done anything. So now you're desperate. Guess what now you're doing? Instead of thinking of ways to start a business or generate some income, now you're making phone calls. Can I borrow $20 till next week? Inspiration versus desperation. Inspiration says, okay, it's March 18th. I'll take a day off and chill out. But tomorrow I got to get up and figure out how I'm going to feed these children. I'm inspired because now I have my time back and I've been wanting to do XYZ forever, so I'm inspired. Desperation says, oh, good. I'm going to take a couple of days off. I'm going to chill out and do this, because I know whatever. And then 30 days go by and the bills show up like they always do. And now you got to work from a different energy. Oh, inspiration brings good energy. Desperation brings bad, stale energy. So that's one thing. I'll encourage you to work from a place of inspiration as opposed to a place of desperation, because the energy that you work in is going to determine how far you go. And there's two different energies, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is how you can use your thoughts to determine your next move. I mean, if you're in this championship series, I know you've heard somewhere about the law of attraction and, you know, how to speak those things which are not as though they were, how to reprogram your brain or program your brain so that it attracts those things to you that you want in your life, okay? So when change is upon us and you have no option but to change, you have to put your mouth and your mind in the game. Everybody type, if you're taking notes, put your mouth and your mind in the game. We need both of them. We need your mind and we need your mouth. Those are two most important tools. Because your thoughts will become things. And what you say is what you get. Your thoughts become things. And what you say is what you get. What you say will be based upon what you see and what you hear. I want you to process that. Your thoughts become things. So we need to put our brain on the team. Your mouth is a tool that you will use to attract to you the things that you need in your life to get where you want to go, to take you right to purpose. Because you've experienced this change and you don't have the option to sit down. The kids still need to eat. The bills still need to get paid, and you still need to pursue purpose. So now you got to get your brain in the game. Get your mouth in the game. How do you know what to say? What you say will be based on what you see. Ooh, little secret, come closer. Those things that you don't see are more real than the things that you see. I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. Let me explain to you something called affirmations, and we'll talk about these tools, and I'm going to get out your way. First thing, your tool is this whole thing, your brain, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose, everything. God gave that to you. Use it. Use your mouth to do something called affirmations. We talked about discipline earlier in the session. I know many of the speakers have talked about things like that. You have to have the discipline to get up and say, regardless of what you see around you, regardless if the whole house is falling down, you have to believe enough To say, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm strong, I'm a money magnet, I'm walking in purpose, I am, I am, I am. You have to speak those things into existence, because what your brain will do, it'll hook up with your mouth and say, so you say it, so it will be. And you keep saying it, and you keep saying it, and you are your own point of attraction, and the next thing you know, you're going to turn around and that thing's going to be there. Now, it's not just about your hair. You got to use these too. Some people just want to sit in the house all day and I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am strong, I'm living my best life, I'm not going back and, I'm not going there. But then they want to turn on TV. But see, these become your next tool. You got to put your hands to the plow. You got to put your hands to the plow. This is your hands, not somebody else's hands. You got to put your hands to the plow. Now let's talk about some external tools. Books. Everything you need is in a book. There's some books that I've read and that I'm reading over the years that have transformed my life. You know, my company, Dori on Purpose Engagements, we focus on transforming minds, bodies, and bank accounts. How do you transform your mind? By your environments, the people who you hang around, the books you read, the tapes you listen to, the videos you watch. There's going to have to be some decisions made. It's going to require some discipline to pick up these tools. Some of the tools you were born with, your brain, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your hands. And guess what? Your feet too. And some you'll have to go after. You're going to have to find a mentor. So let's break this down. Put this toolbox together. In your toolbox, you got your brain, your eyes, your ears, your mouth. Okay? You got your hands. Let's throw some books in there, some good books. Seek out a mentor that doesn't know you in a book. A Jim Rohn, a Tony Robbins, a Les Brown, a Shay Brown. Seek out a mentor. So get into some books. A YouTube. Woo, that YouTube is something else. Get on YouTube. You can learn how to do anything from fixing your car to fixing your brain. Get on YouTube. Get off some things you have to leave out of your toolbox. And it might just be for a season, but you have to be willing to step away from some things so you can come back even better. So remember, guys, as I close out, you can move from inspiration or you can move from desperation, two different energies. I prefer this one. The second thing I want to let you know is that you are your own point of attraction. You have to incorporate yourself in this process, okay? You have to understand that your thoughts will become things. So if you're thinking bad thoughts, your situations are going to become more and more dire. But I encourage you to think good thoughts. Teach your children how to think good thoughts. I never knew how much my daughters were watching me over the years as a network marketer, as an entrepreneur, as a public speaker, and the things that I was saying, how they were taking it in, and they were saying the same thing. And now I see them at 25 and 29 as business owners, purpose-driven. So guys, remember your own point of attraction. Thoughts become things. Move from inspiration, not desperation. You're going to move either way. You're going to move either way. Why don't you move with the good energy? Speak those things which are not as though they were. We call them affirmations. I don't care what's going on around you. Your destiny is still calling you, and you can still go there. I don't care how 8 to 80. I'm 56, and I really feel like I'm just starting to walk in it. Never, ever, ever give up. Because what you're seeking is seeking you. Y'all have a wonderful day. My name is Dori Ray. On all my social media platforms, I'm known as Dori on Purpose. I can't wait to get to know some of you and talk to you about what your purpose is, what your destiny is, and maybe work one-on-one with some of you. I'm telling you, it's here for the taking, guys.